From stories across the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Nitya Sarachandra.
Very good evening. I'm Lakshita Singha. We start off by taking a look at the headlines for today.
Attention drawn to expand the security cooperation between Japan and Sri Lanka. Legal measures will be taken against the importation of garbage from England. Thousands flock to the Enterprise Sri Lanka exhibition today too. USA decides to reimpose the death penalty. The Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act should be amended, says Muslim women activists. Lasith Malinga bids goodbye to one-day cricket today.
Lasith Malinga strikes, and that is the
Now in your top story this evening, Sri Lanka shows great interest to expand defense cooperation with Japan, stated President Maithripala Sirisena when the Japanese State Minister of Defense Kenji Harada called on the President at the President's official residence today. The President said that as both countries are interested in maritime security, Japan and Sri Lanka should further increase cooperation with the two navies to ensure international maritime security as well as safety and security of the international waters. The President further emphasized that the existing close cooperation in the naval sector should also be expanded to the Army, and the Memorandum of Understanding be signed between the two countries would be helpful for increasing this cooperation. The President thanked the visiting Japanese minister for the long-standing development assistance provided to Sri Lanka by Japan. Among those present at the occasion was the President's Secretary Uday R. Seneviratne and the Japanese Ambassador Akira Sugiyama and officials. The MOU on defense cooperation was signed by the visiting State Minister and his counterpart Ruwan Wijewardene at the Ministry of Defense. The State Minister of Defense Ruwan Wijewardene thanked the State Minister of Defense of Japan, Kenji Harada, for the attempts to strengthen the naval operations, training and logistics provided by Japan.
Now, legal action will be taken under the customs ordinance regarding the garbage imported from Britain, says Minister Mangala Samaravira. The minister further said that lawyers are instructed to find the possibilities of framing criminal charges against those who have imported this garbage. Addressing the Parliament today, participating in the debate on that issue, Minister Mangala Samaravira said that the importers of this garbage, Hades Free Zone Company, had been instructed by Sri Lanka Customs to take measures to re-export these containers of garbage, and what they have imported is contrary to the Brussels Convention. Here the re-exporting means not to send it to another country. They have to reship the containers as they originally were back to Britain. Steps are to be taken to take legal action under the customs ordinance after the investigations by customs on those who have imported these containers of garbage. Lawyers are already being instructed to find out whether criminal charges can be brought against those who have imported this garbage and fine them amounts totaling over 3 times its value. It is expected to appoint a ministerial committee to investigate into this by the Ministry of Investment Promotion. The expectation is that this ministerial committee would take measures after studying the action already taken regarding this matter for such activities to not occur in the future.
Now, the Parliamentary Select Special Committee to investigate into the Easter Sunday attacks conducted their collection of evidence in the parliamentary complex today too. The Parliamentary Special Select Committee met at 9:30 a.m. this morning. The Central Bank Governor, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, was the first to give evidence today. Subsequently, 2 senior officers of the Sri Lanka Central Bank were too called upon to give evidence. Attorney General Dapula De Oliveira too was called upon to provide evidence. He arrived at the Select Committee sessions and refused to testify.
Thousands flocked to visit the Enterprise Sri Lanka National Exhibition at Walisinga Harishchandra Stadium at Anuradhapura. This national exhibition, organized with the intent of creating 100,000 entrepreneurs, special opportunities too were made to provide loan facilities to these entrepreneurs. There are a number of stalls displaying the facility for loans in the exhibition site. The national television has also organized a number of programs to facilitate the selection of child announcers, dubbing artists and children with other talents. Tomorrow is the final day of the exhibition.
Now, the two subjects of two ministries have been changed accordingly. The relevant ministers received their letters of appointment from President Maithripala Sirisena this morning. Ranjit Madhuma Bandara, who held the ministerial position of Public Administration, Disaster Management and Rural Economy, has been changed as the Ministry of Public Administration, Disaster Management and Livestock Development. Minister P. Harrison, who was holding the ministerial position of Agriculture, Livestock Development, Irrigation and Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development, is now the Minister for Agriculture, Rural Economic Affairs, Irrigation and Fisheries and Aquatic Resource Development. The letters of appointment were handed over to the relevant ministers of the Presidential Secretariat. The interim report on the standard of the imported powdered milk was handed over to the President today at the Presidential Secretariat. This interim report was prepared by Consumer Affairs Authority. It was handed over to the President by Acting Minister of Industries and Commerce, Buddhika Pathirana. President Maithripala Sirisena joined to observe the exhibition of media photographs organized by the Sri Lanka Photojournalists Association. The exhibition is being held at the J.D.A. Pereira Art Gallery at Horton Place, Colombo. The President, who arrived at the exhibition site, was received by the President of the Sri Lanka Photojournalists Association, Daminda Harsha Pereira, and its Secretary, Kushan Pathiraja. The President placed a special message in the special invitees book of souvenirs, adding well wishes to the award-winning veteran photographers and joined in a group photograph. Speaker of the House Karu Jayasuriya, Leader of the Opposition Mahinda Rajapaksa, and a group of VIPs were among the group who joined the President. President Maithripala Sirisena said that all these exhibits are seen as photographs displaying the abilities of the photographers. While appreciating their talents and abilities of the photojournalists, steps will be taken as the government to reward them for their efforts.
සතුටු වෙනවා වගේම ඒ වගේම අපි රජයේ විදිහටත් ඔවුන්ට දිය හැකි යම් සහයෝගයක් තිබෙනවා නම් අනුග්‍රහයක් තිබෙනවා නම් ඒ සියල්ල ඔවුන් සඳහා ලබා දෙන බව ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා ස්තුතියි.
Now, for the first time in over 16 years, the United States federal government will resume using the death penalty. Attorney General William Barr yesterday announced that 5 federal inmates would be put to death for their crimes, with the first execution scheduled for December this year. Mr. Barr's announcement lifts what was an informal moratorium on the federal death penalty as opposed to state-directed executions since the 2003 execution of Louis Jones Jr., a 53-year-old Gulf War veteran who murdered 19-year-old soldier Tracy Joy McBride. 5 execution dates were announced by Barr for 5 inmates convicted of murder, starting with Daniel Lewis Lee, a member of a white supremacist group who murdered a family of 3 in Arkansas and was found guilty in May of 1999. The last federal execution took place in 2003. Thursday's announcement said that inmates would be put to death using a single lethal injection drug, which the feds say has been used by 14 states in recent years for executions.
Now, the Egyptian embassy in Sri Lanka hosted a reception to celebrate the 67th National Day of Egypt that fell on the 23rd of July. This ceremony was held at the Shangri-La Hotel, Colombo. This is the biggest secular public holiday in Egypt and is considered the National Day of Egypt. The ceremonies were conducted under the aegis of Hussein Al-Sahati, the ambassador of Egypt in Sri Lanka. The chief invitee was Gayantha Karunatilaka, the Minister of Land and Parliamentary Reforms. Among the large crowd of VIPs present were the Speaker of the House, Karu Jayasuriya, Leader of the Opposition, Mahinda Rajapaksa, Ministers Ravi Karunaika, Arjuna Ranatunga and a number of members of the embassies.
It gives me great honor on this auspicious occasion to extend my sincere greetings and best wishes to His Excellency the President, the government and the friendly people of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. I would also seize this opportunity to express the firm support and solidarity of the government and people of Egypt with the government and the people of Sri Lanka in combating the evils of extremism and terrorism, which Egypt has also suffered from for decades and has succeeded in defeating it.
Sri Lanka is looking to expand and strengthen its relations with the African continent in keeping with our strong commitment to Afro-Asian solidarity that flourished during the early years of the non-aligned movement. Being the first African country to have established relations with Sri Lanka and a founder member of the non-aligned movement, Egypt is a natural friend for us in Africa.
Now, meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna entered today to a memorandum of understanding with 10 other political parties. This was signed in the official residence of the leader of the opposition, Mahinda Rajapaksa, at Vijayarama Mawatha, Colombo. These 10 political parties who entered into this agreement with the Podujana Peramuna had so far not represented the joint opposition, nor have they any parliamentary representations. Among those present among the crowds were joint opposition members who are parliamentarians.
The Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act should be amended, says the Muslim Women's Active Network at a press briefing held today in Colombo.
So the purpose of laws is to help us, to benefit us. Personal law governs the personal relationships between. What is the purpose of religion? Religion also is to bring betterment to the lives of individuals, families and communities. So whether it's law and whether it's religion, they are looking to benefit individuals, families and communities. What we have today is a situation, and what we have had, as you have heard historically, is a situation where this particular piece of legislation, the Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act, not benefiting, discriminating, leading to intimidation, violence of Muslim women and girls in particular, and reflecting not so well on the community in general. And this is something that has been sought to be addressed. Make a Muslim janatawa ඇතුලෙන් මේන ඉල්ලීමක්.
Muslim MPs of Parliament have taken it up, and we are hoping, we are confident that they will be able to go ahead, present papers to the Cabinet and get this amendment to the Act in favour of the Muslims of Sri Lanka. Especially, we are asking for the amendments regarding the man-made laws affecting the women of Sri Lanka, especially, it affects both men and women. But the discrimination, basically, right, the difficulties are faced by the women of Sri Lanka, Muslim women. So we are hoping and praying that despite any challenges, there have been lots of challenges, despite all those challenges, that our parliamentarians will take this forward and give us good results very soon.
It was long time ago, 40 years ago, we started this. And today also we go on. Many a doubt exists, but there is no doubt the divine will help us. So we are at it. Then in 1986, formed the organization Muslim Women's Research and Action Forum. And it was called Muslim Women particularly because we were not in the area of development and because we were the most marginalized, but it dealt with all ethnicities. And we did a lot of things, a lot. And there is a misconception that this is just a women's thing. No, it isn't. women were discriminated. But there are human beings in the world, and men are very, very human, I must say. They joined us and they worked with us.
Now, Abu Salih Muhammad alias Abu Salama has proved to be a person who has received training in Zahran's training camp at Hambantota. It has been revealed by the investigations. The police media spokesman SP Ruwan Gunasekara stated this at the media briefing held today. Police media spokesman SP Ruwan Gunasekara said that this person had been taken into custody by the Colombo Crimes Division a few days ago. He is being held by the Colombo Crimes Division to conduct investigations regarding this matter. Opinions were expressed regarding the investigation into Dr. Shafi during this news briefing. Police media spokesman further said that 2 investigations are being conducted by the Crimes Investigation Department on the matter regarding Dr. Shafi. One investigation is being conducted to ascertain whether he has performed operations to make women infertile by sterilizing them. In addition, initially Dr. Shafi had been taken into custody to investigate into the large sum of money Dr. Shafi has earned. Under this separate investigation, the CID is conducting on legal terms and conditions regarding how Dr. Shafi has earned all this money.
Now, the Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka launched their new curriculum 2020 to mould revolutionary chartered accountants as the institute celebrated its Diamond Jubilee recently. This is to counter the changing dynamics of the corporate world and increasing challenges with the onset of digital disruption with data automation and robotics. The curriculum 2020 will mold revolutionary chartered accountants by instilling strong business intelligence, IT and leadership skills to help revive corporate Sri Lanka.
Coming up in the next year or two in the form of the new CISC, the Colombo International Financial Center. The original intent of that, or the belief, was to bring banks and register there. That's not going to happen. If this happened 10 years ago, yes, you would have seen banks coming and registering. But today, with global money laundering, with the type of restrictions we're seeing, I don't think you're going to get tons of banks suddenly running into Sri Lanka and opening branches in CIS. The huge opportunity for Sri Lanka is, with the quality of talent we have, including the accounting profession, is to position that CIFC as a knowledge processing center, offering itself for aircraft registry, shipping registry, value-added advisory services, where intellectual talent is made available to attract investment into that, rather than being Mauritius to really be something like a Dubai, CIFC. So I think here is another opportunity. But let me assure you, for those of you who may not have listened to the CEO of Port City, I had the opportunity of inviting him to the Ceylon Chamber about 6 months ago to clear some myths about this Port City. In the next 30 years, the plan is to roll out around 22,000 high-density apartments and reclaim land of around 4.5 million square feet. And to do that, what he was saying was, it's a lifestyle, it's a lifestyle island, lifestyle city. The quality of labor and skill will be second to none internationally. And when this whole issue was asked about fear of labor, the first question was, if we have the choice of sourcing that labor from Sri Lanka, that is on the other side of the port city, which is from mainland Colombo, why not we will? But will mainland Colombo or mainland Sri Lanka be ready to raise up the quality of their delivery and meet the expectations of Port City as an international city?
It is the present government that has allocated more money than any other for the development of temples that would lead to the upgrading of Sambuddha Sasana, says Minister Sajith Premadasa. He stated this addressing a ceremony at Minuwanguda, where he further stated that the Attamastana and Solasmasthana places of Buddhist worship are being reconstructed fully. The ceremony was conducted at the Sri Nyanananda Pothgul Vihare at Batapula in Minuwanguda, where a foundation stone was laid to construct a new building associated with the Dhamma school of the temple. This construction is being accomplished with money provided by the Central Cultural Fund. Among the large crowd present was the Deputy Minister Edward Gunasekara.
Now we move on to some news from the courts in brief. The case filed by the Bribery Commission against parliamentarian Mahindananda Alutgamage and former chairman of Satosa Nalin Fernando was called at the permanent three-bench High Court in Colombo and the indictments handed over to them. The two accused are charged with causing a loss to the government by importing carom boards and checkerboards worth 53 million rupees. The case was postponed to be heard on the 30th of August. The case filed against the former brigadier of the army Deshapriya Gunawardena and 3 soldiers when called at the magistrates court at Gampaha. It was postponed to be heard on the 1st of November. This case was called before Gampaha magistrate Ruwan Patirana. The accused are charged for causing the death of 3 persons and causing injuries to a number of people when people were demonstrating at Ratupaswala. In the case regarding D.A. Rajapaksa Memorial Museum, where a sum of 33.9 million rupees is claimed to be misappropriated against the former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, including 7 others, the permanent 3-bench High Court ordered to call the case on the 30th of August. This case is filed against the accused by the Attorney General. A case is filed against an accused named Navindu Umesh Ratnayaka at the Colombo High Court for causing the death of Police Inspector Anand Sagar Sarat Chandra by driving a Defender vehicle negligently. The Attorney General has prepared the indictments to file the case against the accused at the Colombo High Courts.
Now, a memorandum of understanding was signed today between the Ministry of Primary Industries and Social Empowerment of the Minister of Gamage on behalf of the National Institute of Social Development with UC Leuven-Limburg University of Belgium. The purpose of this MOU is the development and conduct of curricula to promote academic and cultural interchange, in particular in the field of social work, child and youth studies.
We had to plan to build up a common educational program specific, concentrated on the domain of child and youth studies. Why did we make this choice? Because since a few years in international social work, we have the idea that if you want to be engaged on the domain of children and young people, you need a specific expertise, a specific know-how in how to deal with developmental, behavioral, intellectual problems, disorders. And since a few years, because we exchanged as well professors and students from Leuven University on the one hand and NISD on the other hand, we have the idea that we can go further on this way, that we can develop a common program specific for social workers who work in the domain of children with also, like I told, behavior problems, but also special needs, disabilities, handicaps like you have in Sri Lanka, but also in our country. We think if we invest together that we can reach a higher level of expertise. And that's what we want to try to reach for the next years.
The Toastmasters International inaugural ceremony was held at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation premises recently. At this inaugural ceremony, the welcome address was by Saranga Wijeratne, the Director General of SLRC. The keynote speech was delivered by distinguished Toastmaster Zamin M. Salim. The Toastmasters International is a non-profit educational organization that offers a proven education program that helps improve communication and build leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. The membership of the organization exceeds over 357,000 persons from over 16,000 clubs in 143 countries from 1924. The Toastmasters International had been helping people from all backgrounds to build confidence as speakers and leaders.
At Sri Lanka Telecom as
when I was very young, I do that because it's a little too much knowledge. In my life, I think today's one of
electronics and telecommunication engineer.
Especially the dreams which
therefore I can.
And that's it for the news for today. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.